All right, so every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, this is our staff meeting. All the department heads come and get together, and we go over typically the council agenda, everything the council's working on, and then we talk about issues, make decisions, so that Public Works knows what police is doing, and rec knows what the library is doing, et cetera, et cetera. So what we'll do first is go around and to introduce who we all are. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor. If you don't know that, you've been under a rock for 10 and a half years. I'm elected, last elected in 2015, so I'm in the middle of my fourth term, and then running again in 2019. My job is to lead this great group of people. We sit, we make decisions together. Once I say something will go and the decision's made, then everybody here works together to implement that decision and make sure that the vision that we share, that we come up with together, gets implemented. Now, go around the table first.
Bob Landolfi, I'm the business administrator, and nobody up there saw fit to have my role, so you're all lucky. So the way we're organized is all the operating departments, and that's who's here, report to me, and I report directly to the mayor. So I oversee the day-to-day operations of the municipality. And I tell this group every year that if you do what I do for a living, I've been doing it for almost 41 years now, I think I have the best job in the state of New Jersey. So, and I'm going to tell you why, and then I'm going to pass it on. We're big enough here in Woodbridge that we have a lot of resources, we can do a lot of things, we have a lot of good people, we have a lot of great people. We have good people, we have great resources, we have a really great boss. Did I say that loud enough?
Why don't you turn and face the camera? Shut the door.
So it's a fun environment, and it's work, but it's a fun environment. So we're big enough to have all these resources with a lot of good people, but we don't have all the ills of some of the really large urban municipalities in the state. So we don't have to deal with all the urban ills, but we have all the resources and a lot of the issues that they confront, but we have the ability to deal with them. So it's a great position to be in if you sit where I do. So I'm the BA, and I'm passing on to Marta.
Hi, my name is Marta Levsky. I'm the Director of Planning and Development. And I think what I tell everybody that what I do is anything related to development, anything related to land throughout the town. And I think what I enjoy most is that every day I get to help our residents do any kind of building and construction that they want to do, and I also get to help attract businesses and companies to locate in town, and I've been doing it for a really long time because that's how much I really enjoy doing that as a service to all the town itself and all the residents in town.
How long have you been working here?
28 and a half years, and I'm finishing my 20th year as director.
She started when she was 12.
That's right.
Only 29.
Nobody's keeping track. We're okay.
Okay. My name is Dennis Green. I'm the Director of Health and Human Services. And I guess we're talking about why we like our jobs. So one of
You don't have to.
one of the things I really like about my job is that actually it's the diversity. So I oversee everything from animal control to social workers, the health inspectors, health educators, nurses, people who oversee senior centers and youth centers and drug addiction and municipal alliance. So I oversee a lot of different things, which is great because my job is very diverse. And that's what's great about the Director of Health. Thank you.
I'm John Mitch. I'm the Township Clerk. Welcome today. I too like to say I have one of the best jobs in the state of New Jersey. If nothing else, I have one of the best jobs in the Township of Woodbridge. And I love what I do. I'm in my 27th year as a municipal employee. My biggest challenge, if you will, is I serve as the liaison between the executive branch of government and the legislative branch of government. And then I also serve as the liaison between the public and the legislative branch, which most of you sit there today as a council member. Responsible for basically maintaining the record, the history of the township, Town clerks are a tenured position, so often enough, in many towns, not in this town because it runs efficiently, so our elected officials stay for longer periods of time, but elected officials tend to come and go, the town clerk stays. Okay, now there's continuity between administrations that way. But I've worked under, as long as I've been here, worked under only a few administrations because that's how long they stay in place, okay? People are satisfied. We also do vital statistics, so if you're born in the town, we issue a birth certificate. If you want to get married in the town, we give you a license to get married. And if you know, and I'll put it this way, if you know someone who needs to be buried in town, we actually give a permit for that as well. But we also run all the elections in the municipality. So when there's a council or a mayor or a fire district or board of education member, all that gets coordinated through my office as well. So.
The next guy is out, and the chief financial officer is just had a death in the family, so he's out today.
My name is Vito Samaluka. I'm the Recreation Resident Services Director for the town. One of the things that I'd like to talk about, quite honestly, is the opportunity to work with these very talented people around the table. I've worked my way up from being a laborer in the Parks Department all the way up to director through the mayor. He obviously has a good eye for talent, so. So he's promoted me up through the ranks. So I'm extremely blessed in that category. Probably the best thing I like doing is working, besides working with these folks, is working with the community. As being the Recreation Resident Services Director, it has a broad scope, and that scope has the opportunity to really get with the community, interact with them, and do programs with them, events, parades, Little League, sports, senior events. So I have that opportunity, which I consider myself lucky. The Recreation Department has several facets to it. It has the traditional recreation. It has the Woodbridge Community Center, which sees about a little over 1 million people a year. Sports, and one of the things that we've taken on recently in the last several years is arts. And one of the big initiatives for the mayor is his summer concerts. Those summer concerts they've grown to 55 now. They started off with just being 9, and now they've grown to 55 shows through different genres. So if you can't find music or arts in town, you're definitely not looking. So as the mayor said, you must be under a rock. So there's a lot of events there. We also handle events, the outdoor pools, the camps, the playgrounds. We help out with the Parks Department on the playgrounds, but most of the time the Parks Department handles those. For the most part, if it doesn't fit on somebody else's desk, usually Recreation takes it. So that's what we do.
I'm Bob Huffner. I'm the police director. I oversee the police department. We're about the 6th or 7th largest police department in the state. We have 200 sworn officers. We have a lot of support personnel, both civilian and our reserve officers or auxiliary officers. We're really progressive police department. We're nationally accredited for the 7th time. Every 3 years, a team of assessors come in and look through all our policies and procedures, see how we do things. So we were just reaccredited for the 7th time. I think we are the 2nd largest police department in the state that has been accredited that long. So we have a lot of good men and women.
I'm Monica Eppinger. I'm the library director. I'm one of the newcomers here. I've only been here for about 9 months. Still floored at the resources and the way the township works together to make everything work even better for people who live here. The library serves everyone with educational resources and things you might need for lifelong learning and to support the transformations you go through during the course of your lives.
Missing here today is our township engineer. He works with Public Works. I'm the Public Works director. He's new, but he's very energetic, and he brings a lot to us in a short period of time. And his name is Mike Jellin. My name is Dennis Henry. I'm the director of Public Works. Been here for a long time, real long time, and I'm in charge of probably one of the best equipped public works in the state of New Jersey. We're self-contained. We take care of our own snow removal. We do a lot of services for the outside towns, like you'll hear me a little later. Perth Amboy's looking for us to do something for them. We after disasters like Sandy, Irene, we were one of the first towns to be able to clean up and get people's lives back to normal. A few years ago, we took over the school custodians that we're going to privatize. There was a lot of township residents that worked there. The mayor wanted to save their jobs if he could, so we've been doing that. So we're one of the largest public works in the state when it comes to employees too. But we don't depend on anybody from the outside. In fact, we do a lot of the work for them that are needed. We contract to them. In charge of sanitation, road department, recycling, parks department, division of engineering, buildings and grounds. So there's approximately 8 divisions under Public Works. And we're lucky that we got the support from the administration to allow us to do our own in-house paving and other things that we do.
Also missing today is Mike Asolda, who is our IT director. He takes care of all of the computer systems and communications when it comes to electronics and all of our systems that keep Town Hall running. I am John Haggerty, the communications director, and I'm in charge of all of the communications to the members of the public, whether it be through the news media, through our various news publications that we have, and I take care of responding to all media inquiries and crafting the message that the mayor wants the public to hear and to understand. So at this point, I'm going to show you the quarterly news magazine that we issue each year, and Vita already spoke about the mayor's concerts. There's a concert card in there, which gives you the list of all the concerts and the events that we have in town at this point in time. Additionally, I'm also in charge of all of the social media aspects of what we do, and we are behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we are learning social media. So we are looking to increase our social media presence through the various social media outlets that are out there. The goal is to make certain that everybody in town knows what the mayor is doing, what quality of life issues that we're presenting to them out there, and what we're doing to keep the community safe and sound.
Good morning. I'm Carolyn Ehrlich, and I wear several hats in town. As you can see, everybody at this table does a whole lot of stuff. And the first one I do is I'm the executive director of the redevelopment agency. So as you've seen, if you've driven down Avenel Street and you see the station lofts being built, that's one of my projects. All of the bigger redevelopment that goes on in town. I oversee, I go out, I put on my hard hat and my boots, and I go out and I visit the sites, and I make sure everything is progressing. One of the mayor's biggest redevelopment projects that's going on right now is we are working to turn our downtown into a transit village with mixed-use apartments that are right here near the train station. And our goal is to actually build the kind of housing that when you graduate from college, you'll want to come back here to live. And you'll be able to afford to live here because we will also have an affordable component to it. And so if you have any ideas of what we need to do to make this a place where you're going to want to continue to live, we want to hear that because we are building for your generation. The other hat that I wear is sustainability officer. And I oversee everything that this town does to make sure that we are more what I call greenable. We are the champions. There is no other town that does as much as we do, and this has been verified by an organization called Sustainable Jersey, and they have a list of actions that towns can do and you get points for them. And we've gotten over 1,000 points, and the closest town to us has gotten something, just broke 500 maybe. So we're just phenomenal, but we also know we have a long way to go to make us even better. And then finally, I also wear the hat of chief of staff, which is a very difficult job to describe. Whenever there's a project for the mayor that's very important, I oversee it. I also I listen to him, and we share ideas, and we bounce things off of each other. My desk is right next to his, so it's very much an advisory and and it's a major support that he's got right there all the time. And if I started here on the council, and if I just end with one thing that I want to say to all of you, there is nothing like government service, as you could hear from everybody at this table. People start to think that politics and government is a bad job. It's the best job that you could have. So think about that as you're pondering what you want to do with your career. Thank you.
We also have Nancy Drum. She is the First Ward Councilwoman. She represents Woodbridge and Seawarren. In the audience, Nancy, you can say hello.
Hi.
So what's interesting is the only person at this table who's got less experience than me right now is Monica. She's a new library director. Everybody else, Dennis started as a welder. Vito started in equipment repair. Bob started as a regular police recruit. Dennis, you weren't the director when you started here. You started as an inspector. John Mitch was the councilman, became the deputy clerk, and then became the clerk. Marta was a planner, then became the director of planning. Bob started as the BA, 2004, 2003. So John and Carol and I started together, but I'm the rookie here in terms of the number of years serving with the town. That's how talented this group was, that when I came in, I basically kept everybody because the town runs well with this group of people. So we really didn't mess with success. We kept everybody in place and then grew it from there. So now what we do is there's an agenda for every council meeting, and there's 9 council people. Each of them keeps like a tickler list of all the things they're working on, and then every Tuesday night, every other Tuesday when there's a council meeting, Ricky will go first. He's the council president. He'll look at his list and say, okay, County Greenway, and he'll turn to Bob and say, can we do this? And he'll say, okay, the do not drop list, can we get a reminder out, whatever. Goes through his list, and then Debbie as the vice president goes, and then Nancy, and it goes right down in order. So what we do is we go through the list first in the morning and try to see what we can do on these issues, and then we talk to the council people during the day so that the meeting at night goes as smooth as possible. So with that, I'll let Bob take over the meeting.
Okay, so when I look at Ricky's list, Councilman Delina's list.
Do they have this? Do they have the list?
Yes.
Okay.
And we know that these are important issues, and I know that at some point in time before the end of the day, Councilman Delina is, because it's grass cutting season and grass is growing, so he's going to ask us if we've reached out to the state and asked them about cutting their right-of-ways. So preemptive strike here, so he hopefully never doesn't watch this, he never sees this. I'm going to ask Dennis to reach out to the state to remind them that they've got to get out and cut their right-of-ways, so that when he asks us at some point in time today, probably this evening, we're going to be able to say, Dennis has already reached out to the state and we're on top of that, Council President. We're not going to go through all of theirs, so we'll just kind of pick out one from each that would be important.
Well, if you see something on an agenda you want to ask a question about, just raise your hand or just blurt out.
Yeah, the other issue for Councilman Delina is do not drop. Every spring, particularly, all the flyers start appearing in your streets, on your driveways, on your sidewalks, in front of your door. We have a do not drop ordinance in town where folks can register their property and then they have to drop the flyers within 10 feet in a visible area or not drop them at all. So we will have Councilman Delina remind everybody to sign up for do not drop once again, because we're right in the heart of the dropping season.
We also have do not call, and I have that on my home phone, but I don't have it on my cell phone. And frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of Heather, because Heather calls me twice a day. Hello, this is Heather. So I got to figure out how to do not call on my cell phone. If somebody knows, let me know. Thanks.
Pass that along.
Okay, on to Council Vice President Meehan, and we'll talk about 2 of her issues. And the first is domestic violence response team. Vice President Meehan has been a very active advocate for that group. The mayor asked us to include an appropriation in next year's operating budget, which starts on July 1st for that group. So we're going to have that conversation with Debbie, let her know that. I'm sure she's going to be very happy with that because, again, she's been a real advocate. The other thing, Mayor, is I thought maybe you could take a moment and talk about the Heroin Task Force and our opioid recovery program.
Yeah, I bet you if I asked you to raise your hand if you know somebody who's had a heroin problem or died from a heroin overdose, I bet most of you know somebody. The state started a program 2 years ago to put peer recovery coaches in hospitals, call them up, they're on call, they go to hospitals every time someone's admitted with the Narcan deployment or just comes in and says they have a heroin problem. And that coach is always somebody who is in recovery themselves. They have to have 2 years clean. They take training, they become a coach. And then studies show that if you talk to somebody who walked in your shoes while you're in the hospital, it's a whole lot more effective, somebody close to your age, than talking to a social worker who really doesn't understand the issue. So the state started a program. They didn't pick Middlesex County at first, so we started our own. Then they did pick Middlesex County, but we still kept our own going. The Middlesex program is out of New Brunswick and Robert Wood, so we're doing one out of JFK Hospital, Raritan Bay, Perth Amboy, and Robert Wood, Rahway. Dennis runs it, it goes under him. We hired Bonnie Nolan, who's got a PhD in neuroscience, and Liz Cowan, who's got a master's in mental health counseling, and they run our own program now. And every time someone from the police department does a Narcan deployment, we transport them to one of the hospitals, and in advance the coach is called, and the coach goes out and talks to them, and then they get 8 subsequent visits, and our coach tries to get them treatment, either outside or inside, tries to get them admitted to the right treatment center. And we think it's made a difference. It's early yet, but I've gotten several letters and I've talked to several parents who say that your program has saved my kid's life. And you can't get a better something in your life as a mayor. You can't get a better email or letter or woman calling up, or talking to you and saying you saved my kid's life. So do you want to add anything, Dennis?
The only thing I would add is that we have that was actually very thorough, but we also have the forums, the opioid overdose forums.
Oh, forums, right.
And the warm meetings, which are weekly meetings for people in recovery, support groups.
Yeah,
so,
once a week, Wednesday nights from 7 to 11, anybody in recovery from Woodbridge can go to the Sycamore Senior Center, play pool, watch TV, socialize, get food, and just be in an alcohol, drug-free environment. Because what they say is the triggers, they want to stay away from triggers. You can't go to bars, you can't go out with your friends if they're going to, do something stupid. So we try to make that available. Last forum, I stopped at the end, it was phenomenal. We had a kid from Woodbridge who graduated Woodbridge High speak, and I didn't see it, but everybody that went said it was just amazing. The kid telling his story. He's been clean like 4 or 5 years. Amazing story.
Okay, on to our favorite council person. That would be Councilwoman Drum. She might be here today to hear that.
What did you want next? Why don't you just talk about how you use this list, how you use your agenda, maybe?
So this morning I was at a meeting 9:30 with some of the directors, and I knew that I have Main Street, the Downtown Merchants Association, and the downtown SID, which is the Special Improvement District, on my agenda. And I don't know if you've noticed, but they're doing a lot of work over there, putting in the handicap ramps and over by the train station, and they're going to be doing some milling and paving. So I asked Mr. Haggerty if he had anything for me to announce tonight at the meeting, since it's on my agenda, and he gave me a press release that he's sending out to, I guess, to all of the...
It'll be an all-user for all of our employees,
Right.
as they are now moving tomorrow to start construction in front of the entrance to our parking lot. That has been issued to residents around the Main Street area and the businesses to let them know what's going
So I'll announce
on.
that tonight at the meeting. Anything else that's happening, I have the dog park in Seabourn. We had just, Mr. Landolfi, our business administrator, were passing a resolution to get that redone over there on Buttercliff Road. Many of the items on my agenda, I'll ask the department directors, I'll go right to them before my meeting. Is anything happening? Is there anything that you'd like me to announce at the council meeting? So it becomes a public record and our people that are viewing it or here in the audience know about it. So that's how I utilize my agenda. Okay? Thank you. Have fun.
So Councilman Anderson is next. I think, well, I don't know if you're familiar with pulling around the township. It's a program. Some of you we're getting some shake of the heads up there. So it's a volunteer program that's run every April. that literally takes 12 months of planning. So planning's already started for the 2018 Tooling Around the Township program. And basically what it is, there are teams of volunteers that go to homes and perform sometimes major repairs, but primarily minor repairs to those homes, usually for elderly or income qualified individuals. I think this year we had 16 homes that were done, so 16 teams went out and did the work. It was extremely successful. What we would ask, actually Councilman Anderson has asked us for an update, so he has all those details. And what I assume what he will do tonight is he'll make an announcement, a recap of what Tooling Around accomplished this year, and then preface things for next year, because again, it's a year-long process.
How many have you done that? Yeah.
Cool.
Have an VFW? Raking leaves? Yeah? That's a big job. That's a big job.
And again, we're just hitting a couple of highlights here. So we go to Councilman Vaquera. If you look at his agenda, he in his former career, he was an athletic director at Perth Amboy High School. He's very involved in a lot of our wellness and recreational type activities, and you see that from what he has on his agenda. He would ask us today if there's if we can give an update on Senior Month, which is actually this month, the month of May. So we'll provide that to him. Vito usually has that conversation with him. He would also he'll also talk this evening about the community center. Vito would give him that information at some point in time today, because again, that's something he has an interest in, and he would make that update. And that's the community center is the first item on his agenda. Lisbeth DeJesus, Councilwoman at Large. She's actually very involved in putting together this program today. If you look at her number on her agenda, it's the number 4 item. So she works closely with us to make sure that this stays put together, that it's a reality. She can't be here this morning, so we'll report back to her that you guys did great. You should tell her that we did great.
She's also going to require an update on the police community relations and the fact that we are getting ready to start taking registrations for the Junior Police Academy, which will be in July. And its middle school students can sign up and spend a week with our police department.
Okay, next would be Councilman Spiller. And there's a couple of items on his agenda that are very active. One is Avenel Arts, and I think earlier you heard Carol talk about her role as the executive director of the redevelopment agency, and that project is under the redevelopment agency. And Councilman Spiller is very cognizant of progress over there. So Carol, why don't you give a quick update?
Okay, it's going to have 500 residential units, and how many of you have driven by down Avenel Street to see the construction that's going on there? Okay, so it's absolutely beautiful. It has
I like the murals. 500 units, and all I care about is the murals.
It's the funniest thing, because when John and I are driving together, and as you come under the tunnel, he goes, "Look at those murals, aren't they great?" And then we keep on going and go, "Look at those buildings, aren't they great?" And it's kind of a running joke with us, but I guess nobody's getting it. You got to be there. So, but anyways, there's going to be a little bit of retail, and then we're going to have an art center there, which we are just so excited about. It's going to be flex space with 200 seats. It can be seats, or it could be a kind of thing where everybody's just standing and listening to music or partying. It's going to include a restaurant, and it's going to be run by Vito. We have hired an amazing person to run this facility. His name is Anthony Wilkinson, and he's an Emmy Award winner, and he's already starting to get programming to come in even before it's built, because that's how far in advance you have to book things. And Dino's got a huge smile on his face. Do you want to add anything?
No, it just Anthony is a very exciting individual, extremely talented and well-versed in exactly what the drive is there. So we are going to be all very well entertained once those shows start.
It's important to note that he's a Broadway playwright and has had 3 shows on Broadway. So
Absolutely.
that's huge and key to his interacting talent.
Okay, thanks, Carol. Okay, on to Councilman Small. And Mayor, if I could, and actually I'm going to ask you to do this for the next 2. One of the things that's on Councilman Small's agenda are the school projects. Nobody gives a better explanation of what that means than Mayor McCormick. It was his brainchild, and it's comprehensive. So, Mayor, why don't you give a little update there?
All right, when companies come to town, well, first we give them tax incentives to come to town in terms of a 10-15% discount on what their taxes would have been. So we get the warehouses and we get the retail projects and a couple of big power plants instead of somebody else. We get the jobs, they clean up brownfields and make the town better. And the way that the taxes come in, we get a windfall that we have always decided to share a piece with the Board of Ed. So we went out starting in 2013 and did $26 million worth of projects. We did everybody's turf fields for baseball, softball, and football/soccer. We did tracks, we did tennis courts, the middle school theater, playgrounds at every grammar school, cricket fields in Avenel Middle, tennis courts, gym floors, bleachers, auditorium seating, air conditioning, anything that's community oriented. We are allowed to spend, we're allowed to borrow money and spend it on anything community oriented. We can't borrow money to put a boiler on a school because it's just for the school. We can't borrow money to put a roof on a school because it's just for the school. But any of those facilities I described are community facilities. So we went out, spent all the money up front, got all the work done over a 3-year period, and then as we collect and borrow the money to do it, like a mortgage, and then as the money comes in from these tax projects, we take 25% of it and pay off the mortgage. And it'll be paid off probably in 15 years or less. But in the meantime, we get all these great improvements. And I don't know if you've ever been through Colonia High School before, the work, it just looked awful. The football field looked awful. The baseball field looked awful. I remember going to a game at Woodbridge High when I first became mayor, watching Woodbridge play Colonia at a night game and a little bit of a rain, and the field was like a mud bowl, just absolutely terrible. The track in Colonia used to be condemned. The track in Kennedy was condemned. Now, you couldn't run on it, you couldn't race on it, you can't even walk on it. So we did all that work, and I think the town just looks phenomenal because the schools look phenomenal. And that's what Brian was on the Board of Ed, now he's a councilman. And that's why he has this on his agenda, so he can report. Everything we do, pretty much somebody on the council has it on their agenda. And they become our mouthpiece to the public, mostly through the council meetings. So because Brian has school projects, we don't have to explain it. Brian explains every week, we got this done this week, we got this done that month. So everything we do, just about in government, somebody has it on their agenda. And Brian's the guy that talks about the school project. Now, one other thing I want to point out, which you might not have noticed, there's 5 ward council people. There's 5 wards in Woodbridge. Nancy's the first ward, Woodbridge and Seawarren. Her agenda, when you look at it, is pretty specific to Woodbridge. Ricky Galena is Hopewell and Ford's Caseby, 2nd ward. A lot of his stuff is specific. Corey's the 3rd ward, Avenel and Port Reading. His agenda is all about that. Vera, we didn't talk about him yet. He's Island and Menlo Park Terrace. And then Nancy is all Colonia. Those 5, Debbie means all Colonia. Those 5 are specific ward councilmen. They concentrate on the ward. The other people, like Greg Ficara has the wellness, and Lizbeth DeJesus has History Museum and Youth and Government Day and Hispanic Heritage Month, things that are more general. So that the at-large council people, they actually run when I run, and the ward people run opposite us. So for example, this year, all 5 ward council people are running. Rick Deline has decided not to run. He's got 24 years in, so we have another guy running, Howie Bauer, running for him. The 5 ward council people run in 2017. I run in 2019 with the 4 at-large, 2021 the ward, 2023 me and the at-large again. So we run opposite them in odd-numbered years. But you probably wouldn't have picked up on it, but when you go back and look, The ward guys have a very geographic sensitive agenda, whereas the at-large are more global.
Okay, and lastly, Councilman Patel, and I'm going to preface this a little bit and then ask the mayor to speak. A project, a program that the mayor has advanced is creating senior citizen centers geographically located throughout the township. And we're continuing to advance that. One of those, hopefully, not hopefully, will be the Island American Legion. And that's on Councilman Patel's agenda. And Mayor, given that you've been the push there, you should probably...
Right, so we've always had the Evergreen Senior Center in Colonia. It's been there forever. 2 years ago, we opened up. The Port Reading Knights of Columbus came to us. They were having trouble, paying their bills and staying in business. So we bought the downstairs of their building. They stayed upstairs. We made it a condo, and now we turned it into the Sycamore Senior Center. Huge hit. Everybody loves it. Both Evergreen and Port Reading are kind of on the remote ends of town, though. So we're going to buy the Island American Legion. Same thing. They came to us, can't pay the bills. We're going to buy their building and lease it back to them, a little piece back to them, and turn that into a senior center for Island. And then we're looking at the Ford's First Aid Squad, which has been for sale for years. They moved over to the Ford's Firehouse, and we're going to buy that and turn that into a senior center. So at the end of the day, we'll have 4 senior centers in 4 different sections of Woodbridge that's close to somebody. Everybody's close to one of those 4 buildings. And there's such big hits with the seniors that we just have to do it, because somebody from Ford's now, hard time getting to Port Reading, hard time getting to Evergreen in Colonia. We'll have 4 that everybody can get to, and believe me, it's what they want, and they love it.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. All right, what we do next at our weekly staff meetings is we go around the table and ask the directors if there's anything that they would like to share that has common interest or import to everybody here at this level. So we're going to do that. We'll keep it brief. Usually that's the longest part of the meeting, of the staff meeting. So Carol would start off.
The only thing I have today is the Sustainable Jersey deadline is the end of the month, and I think almost everybody has gotten everything in, and I just really want to thank you for the cooperation. It's been incredibly smooth.
Okay, the only thing I have is the Woodbridge News Summer Edition is getting ready to be put together, so if you have any items for me, kick them over to me, and we'll get the magazine written and published, and hopefully it'll be out by mid-June, early July.
Okay, with Public Works, Parks Department is completing the new bathroom structures over at Boynton. We just finished paving the fire company, District 9's Kelly Street Firehouse parking lot. They're looking at us to put in some aprons for them. The paving crew is now over on New Street, working on the new parking lots over there. Our stream crews are back in the Woodbridge River and Avenel, clearing the debris and stuff, and improving the flooding area.
You got laborers?
We have laborers in there, and we're working with the County Mosquito Commission. And then Vito, I was contacted by the Ford's Clear Barton Baseball. They're looking to get their area paved in there, but I know we're working with the Bearcats too, so we got to be careful where we go.
Yeah, not a problem. Put together a meeting, we'll sit down with Mike Dillon. Figure out exactly.
And then the Saints are looking to get another dumpster put in there, but we've had some issues with a lot of construction debris ending up there, so we're going to meet with them within the next couple of days and see if we can talk Council Spiller out of it, but we'll see how that works.
Pedro emailed me, and I sent him right to the water company. He wants a line run for water in the fields. He's talking to the water company. We're out of it, so.
Okay, good.
You want to talk about the bulk pickup?
Yeah, well, we've changed it this year. We have a better control of it. We've already seen a decrease in the amount of garbage coming from out of town. In the past, what we would do is every year in the spring, we would offer the residents, and this is what the mayor came up with, a full bulk pickup. What he would do is allow people to have garage sales. And they would have their garage sales. It would be scheduled in different areas of the town. Every year we would start, one year we would start in the north end, one year we would start the next year the south end. People would have their garage sales, and then anything they couldn't get rid of, they would be able to put it out for a free bulk pickup. And in the beginning, it was a real challenge, because a lot of people had a lot of things that their wives were asking the husbands to get rid of, and they just kept putting it off. Now that it was in black and white, that they had to be out by a certain date, they were forced to put it out. Over the years, we picked up approximately 13,000 tons every year of just the bulk pickup, and it really didn't go down, which it really should have. What we found out over the years was we were starting to get a lot of people that were bringing in from other towns, relatives, contractors that were bringing garbage into Woodbridge. So this year what we did was we went out and we allowed the residents to schedule their own garage sales and to schedule their free bulk pickup. All they have to do is call Public Works, we schedule within a week, give them a date that they can put it out. So a lot more controlled, and we probably are going to save a lot of money on the amount of garbage that's not coming into Woodbridge. So I think that we did it, the first year was 2007, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
2007. So up until now, it's almost 10 years that we went out and we gave them a chance to clean out their yards, take their decks down, some driveways, stuff they couldn't sell at the garage sales.
It didn't make sense that if we picked up 13,000 tons in 2007, it should have gone to 12 and 11 and 10 and 9, and we should be down to a couple thousand tons a year. But last year was still 12,000 tons. So, Aunt Millie from Millburn was bringing her couch, and Uncle Louie from Louisville was bringing his TV, and we'll dump it in Woodbridge, and we're paying to pick it up. So
yeah, they figured it out. They figured out they could bring it down.
Yeah, we got great services, so they bring their stuff here.
Everybody seems to like it. I mean, the husbands get to push off putting the stuff out there now, because they say they're going to call next week and they don't call. But we're getting the calls and we're scheduling it, and it's working pretty smooth with the new system.
The only complaints we've gotten now is people, we used to say, Colonia, your garage sales May 20th, and the pickup is May 22nd to 25th. Avenel, you're May 27th, and your pickup's that Wednesday. We didn't schedule garage sales, because people, although we do a lot of publicity, we were afraid that people wouldn't know that the bulk pickup changed, and they would have their garage sales and then just put everything out, and then people didn't have garage sales, see people putting it out, and they put their stuff out, and we would have garbage all over the place. So for 1 year, we postponed, we eliminated the garage sale program. People could still have a garage sale. We don't do Colonial all at once or Avenel all at once. Next year, we'll get back to having garage sales in sections of town, so that when you come to a garage sale, you want to hit 10 of them in a row. That's what's good about it. So next year we'll go back to saying, this is when you can have your garage sales, and hopefully people now are out of the habit of just leaving their stuff out. But I was totally afraid that if we did that system, the garage sale system, we'd have garbage everywhere, every weekend, from people who didn't know the system changed. So we postponed it for 1 year. And that's about the only complaint I get, is people wanted to have the group garage sales. They can only have an individual one now. But
they seem to be catching on.
Yeah, they're catching on, yeah.
That's it.
Registration for free reading programs for all ages at Woodbridge Public Libraries will begin the week of June 19th. The theme this summer is Build a Better World, and will include reading and study skill enrichment, coding for teens, random fandom, Star Wars, trivia, learning games, and lots of prizes. Call the library or visit the website at woodbridgelibrary.org.
As you know, we're in the process of hiring 5 officers. They're going through the background investigations now. Several have been eliminated, and they'll be starting the academy the end of August. That's all I have.
Mike got word that Main and Green trucks is a go. So the removal of trucks from Main and Green is a go.
Right, I believe that's on tonight.
Yeah. We got to sit down quick, though, because what I want to do is, when Main Street's done, that ban should be ready to go, so we don't have trucks on a brand new street.
Right.
And they want to, we have to include Randolph as the truck route to make it official?
We're talking about that now. There might be an issue. I was going to have that on tonight. I think we have to talk that through, because that's going to eliminate part of the truck route, and that
No, they want it to be a truck route. They want us to memorialize it as a truck route.
Well, I think the way it was written, it's very confusing. It looks like it's taking it off.
Okay,
So
no, that's not.
I don't think we need to memorialize anything, because it's already on the books.
Talk to Mike Ellen, because he's been the one who's been talking to DOT.
Right.
And this is their request, so we might
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think there was some confusion
Yeah.
because it's already on the books, and when he wanted it rewritten, they thought he wanted it off. So we're going to pull that off. I don't think we need to do anything with that because it's on the books. But
They're
Chandler Hill
saying
Road.
it's not, that it was never approved. So they want
Yeah, it might be
you
on the
to-
books, but they
Right.
don't, they never,
Oh, okay.
So they want you to do it again so that with their approval.
I got you. All right.
Will they allow the adoption without?
And they also said that they were going to, I thought they said they were going to send you the form of the ordinance they want passed. So,
The email I
If you can
got
get in
didn't
touch-
say much of that. So we're going to hold off on that for right now,
Okay.
just make sure we're all on the same page, and I'll get with Michael. That's all I have.
but it is good news nevertheless.
great news.
Right.
I'd just like to take a quick opportunity to thank Deputy Recreation Director Brian Molnar and Eileen Caggiano for organizing the Youth and Government Day today. Thank you both. Appreciate that, all the hard work. The Summerfest for June 22nd is up on the website, so the Benjamins are all squared away.
Explain that.
John has it.
Explain that to them.
Okay, so every year, again, we talked about the mayor's concerts that are kicking off. So what we're doing this year is we're having a kickoff to summer, and we're going to hold it in the community center parking lot. We're going to have a band. We're going to have some fun jump rides. We're going to have some fun entertainment. We're going to have all the groups from around town that you can reach out to, all in one place. So we're going to have some refreshments, some food, some food trucks for just a kickoff to summer, which kicks off our Mayor's Summer Concert Series and all the events that we have through the summer. So it's a neat event. It's part of our staycation. So stay in Woodbridge, enjoy the community center, enjoy the events that we have here throughout the summer. So you don't have to sit in the parkway traffic. So if you want the beach, you can head down to Seawarren. It's a little beach, but it's not bad.
There's no sand.
It'll be.
A couple of blankets. So with that, we have that. Real quick, I know we're pressed for time, but Mayor, if you turn your attention to those boards that are there. This is the signage in front of you.
All right.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, this is for Oak Tree Road Elementary School, School 29. That's the top one. So
These are the colors, you mean?
that's the color. So what was requested by Jill Osborne and the Board of Education, which we're leading to, is the green closest to me, which is Dartmouth green, correct, and the gold leaf, to be bordered in a bone or a tannish color, which is the next color next to that. So if you're okay with that, and you're okay with the verbiage that's in front of you, there's going to be a 10-foot sign in the front of the building where you enter next to St. Cecilia's Church. There's going to be also two 10-foot signs on Oak Tree Road identifying the building as School 29 Elementary School on Oak Tree Road. And there's going to be two directional signs, one off of Dow Avenue onto the old Willis Way, and the other one off of Middlesex and Vernon.
On Vernon, okay.
Okay.
Why two on Oak Tree Road?
Because they're going to go back to back. They're up on the hill and they're moved apart from. It's two signs back to back shadowed, so you can see it as you go by.
Okay.
So you identify the school and the location. All right. So if you look at the next one, which is Cypress, there's
Well,
also.
let's take a vote. Let's take a vote.
Okay.
So,
Anybody who doesn't vote for green.
the green's a given. It's green.
So the reason why we stayed away from the dark green is to stay away from JFK.
Okay.
So and that's why we
That's
went.
kind of their color, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we went with the Dartmouth green.
Everybody like this and this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You got it.
No one's going to say no.
Democracy in action.
Well, when I give you two choices of green, I didn't think it was going to be bad. So.
And this is Cypress?
So that's Cypress. So that is for our wrestlers and rather a lot of cheerleading groups. So we wanted to go with something that was non-descriptive to any individual cheerleading group. The wrestlers, the Woodbridge wrestlers, are the closer blue to me, the lighter blue and gray, which is next to your hand that's holding it. So we, all the way down at the end.
Yes,
So
it is.
yeah, so we actually wanted to use so it doesn't look like basement floor gray. We actually wanted to use the silver leaf, which is directly in the middle.
So
Correct.
this,
Yeah.
surrounded by this, surrounded by this?
Correct. So, and if you look at the handout that I gave you, there's a wrestler and a cheerleader on both sides. He's going to make some adjustments to the cheerleader.
I see.
Yep. He's going to make some adjustments to the cheerleader. It looked a little juvenile. and he's going to make her as large
Oh,
as
yeah,
the
yeah, that
wrestler.
does look like a...
Yeah, it looks a little juvenile. So with that, even though they are young kids, it's just, I want to represent everyone.
These are the serious decisions, folks. What is the color of the building going to be?
Why isn't that green too?
Just to separate them, to change them up.
Yeah, it can't all be green.
Yeah.
Yeah, why can't it all be green?
And
I think it's cool.
And I think the placement of the sign, we probably can't decide here because there's a lot of conversation about the sign placement. So we'll have a broader conversation. But John Cook is in charge of that, and he's been working on it, and we should have some ideas.
Another guy doing a great job for this town, by the way.
Absolutely.
John runs is running the Cypress Center, and also St. Cecilia's School. We now lease it I have a lease on it for 30 years. School 24. Anybody go to School 24? Kennedy Park School? You did? They're moving over to St. Cecilia's. And then next September, a year from January, right?
Yes.
I forget now. January. School 24 is going to be a kindergarten home, and it's going to be home for all kind of special classes. So, for example, there's classes in School 21 now, ESL classes. The kids are bused to School 21. In order for School 21 to have enough room for full-day kindergarten, those classes are going to be moved to School 24. So all those kind of special classes are going to be moved. If the kids are already bused, they're going to be bused to School 24. And then that will create room in hopefully all the grammar schools that everybody can have full-day kindergarten at their own grammar school where they're going to go when they're in first grade. In the cases where there's too many kindergarten kids, some of them will be bused to School 24 for 1 year, and then they'll go to their home school come first grade. So the goal is to have every kid in town have full-day kindergarten within a year, which I think you'll all agree. When you're in half day, by the time you put your lunch away and take your coat off and get settled, you get an hour and a half, max 2 hours of instruction before you're packing up and leaving. So full day is very, very important. It's been important to us for a while, and we're finally making it happen.
So I'm good. We got our marching orders. And we'll talk about location later on.
Yeah, okay.
Just going to touch on a couple of quick items. One most important, or more importantly than most on the agenda, are liquor license renewals and liquor license issuances. Just so you're aware, I know you are aware of the age to drink alcohol, consume alcohol, purchase alcohol is 21 in the state of New Jersey. My office coordinates the issuance of liquor licenses in Woodbridge Township. We have 95 liquor licenses in total. Some of them include social clubs like a VFW, an American Legion, and Knights of Columbus. But 81 of those licenses are actually retail establishments, a liquor store, a restaurant, a bar. And that is one of the highly regulated industries in the state of New Jersey. So that we work very closely with the police department in ensuring that all those businesses run very well. And there are no issues, especially if they're close to neighborhoods where people live, so that people's lives are not disrupted by a bar. We have an annual training session where every retail operator has to come in. We had our annual session just 2 weeks ago. As an example, out of the 81 businesses that were supposed to be here, 7 did not attend, so they were issued a $250 penalty for not attending. In the meantime, that $250 gives them credit for attending because they get a DVD version of the instruction that went on that day, and they have to view it. What happens when there's a violation? Well, let me back up for one moment. The town council actually issues the liquor license to the business, but all the efforts before that are done or coordinated through my office and the police department. There's an officer that's assigned to my office, and we do all investigations on everyone who wants to own a liquor license in Woodbridge Township, and even go down to investigate any manager. So again, it's a very highly regulated industry here in New Jersey. And I'll give you one example. We are negotiating right now a possible settlement with a business in town, which is a restaurant, for a failure to maintain a true book of accounts, meaning we have the right to go in and look at their books, their checking accounts, and make sure that they're doing everything right, that they're paying everybody legitimately, that there are no violations of labor laws, or just failure to disclose interest in a business. So we have that violation pending right now. And And again, it's one of the biggest things that we stay on top of. The other thing is we're approaching 2 weeks from today is a primary election. I indicated earlier that my office coordinates the election. By way of example, in 2 weeks you'll have a primary ballot. If you're not 18, or maybe you'll see somebody at home who has one, we will have a Democratic and Republican primary race in 2 weeks, and that sets forth the election that comes in November. Okay? We do 75 voting districts here in Woodbridge Township. We have over 60,000 registered voters out of our almost 100,000 residents. And up until a couple years ago, everything we did was in English and Spanish. 5 years ago, we added Hindi, and as of this year, we've added Punjabi and Gujarati to the ballots and to all the information that we distribute. So things are changing in Woodbridge, and we have to maintain, stay up with the times on that. So last comment, if you are 17, but will be 18 before the November election, you can register to vote. You won't be able to vote, but you can register now at the age of 17 here in the state of New Jersey. That's a recent law change in the past 12 months. So, and I encourage you to do so. It's all part of this whole process. So, thank you.
Two quick things. We had our skin cancer screening in conjunction with, or in partnership with St. Peter's Hospital last week. We had 13 people screened. 9 actually were referred, which is a pretty high amount. Yeah. And we had our 2 rabies clinics for vaccinations for dogs and cats. I think almost 200 animals were vaccinated. That's it.
Okay, so we were supposed to have our conference call with the court yesterday at 10 a.m. That occurred, so our final hearing date is now carried with no further notice to June 22nd. And unfortunately, our master issued another letter to her, addendum to her 2 previous letters from the end of last month. And we had a conference call yesterday, and our attorney is crafting a response that will be sent to everybody today.
It's not any more nonsense.
To her directly.
So what does that mean for tonight?
Nothing. That means we're adopting the ordinance. We reviewed again what new changes she requested that we're not going to make, plus what changes we had already made, and we're going to go forward and adopt that ordinance tonight. And yes, you'll be happy with the tone the attorney is taking, that we're finished, as you directed. Nothing out of what was directed. The only surprise was, and I guess it shouldn't be a surprise to us anymore, is the master had more comments the day before, on a Sunday before the 10 o'clock conference call. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, I think we've probably tortured you guys enough, so I'm going to pass, because I think the mayor wants to have an opportunity again for questions.
You guys have any questions on anything we talked about? Anything on the agendas? Yes. We were supposed to have Kennedy Park moving into St. Cecilia's by January, and it's going to be ready, but it's the decision of the school. It looks like they might not move in then, they might wait, but in any event, full-day kindergarten they're scheduled for next September of 18. That's the plan. Yeah.
It says in the school agenda that you're doing Jamestown High School field and building improvements.
The last thing left in the whole list of the fields is the batting cages at JFK for the girls. We both built the field, but no one thought to put the batting cage back up. So they called us, we said, you're right. So that's the last thing that's, of all the 26 million projects, the reason it's on his agenda is because it's not done yet, so he follows up on it. Yeah.
The new Cypress Recreation Center, is that just strictly for wrestling and cheerleading, or is that going to be open to like everyone's community center?
Right now it's wrestling and cheerleading. During the day it's going to be a home for special needs adults, like a day camp. Up to 25 special needs adults can go there, check in. Usually they go out to trips or they go out to job sites and they recreate and they visit. So from 8 to 4 it's going to be that, and then after that it's set up permanently for wrestling, permanently for cheerleading, and then special needs teens and young kids can use it nights and weekends too. There's really not enough room for wrestling and cheerleading in our gyms. They got to drag their mats around. They get this room one day, that room the next day, this school one day, this school the next day. So we thought we needed a place for them to have that they can call home and stay in and be in, and that's theirs. Yeah.
When will the new Avenel Art Center be open?
Good question. Hopefully not this fall, but next fall. They're actually going to start going out to bid the project in 3 weeks, about a month for the bidders to come in and say, I'll do it for $6 million, I'll do it for 5.9, and then probably a year after that. So we're looking at the fall of next year. Yeah.
Mr. Small's agenda, it says bicycle paths. Where are these bicycle paths?
Oh, bicycle paths are from Town Hall through Woodbridge and Avenel and back. You got to put them where there's room. So they're basically going to go down Broadway Avenue all the way toward Broadway and Carteret, and then cut in and out of some areas. It's about a 7-mile round trip. But we're waiting for the state to approve them. We've got them all designed. Our engineers worked it all up, but we haven't gotten state approval yet. Anything else? All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your attention. Okay, we're wrapping up Youth in Government Day now. This is a program, as you have seen, where high school kids from all over the town come and watch our government in action for a day. We have 9 different students here. I'd like to now present them with a proclamation. First up, Brianna Bruska, Woodbridge High School, who represented Chief of Staff Carolyn Ehrlich. Come on up. You can hold that open there and just smile for Beth. Anything you want to say?
It was a great experience coming here today.
Great. Thank you. Hetal Lad, JFK High School, representing Councilman Vera Patel.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and it felt like an insight to what was going on, which you don't usually get. So it was
great.
Interesting.
Okay, Sarah Gregory from Colonia High School, representing Councilman Corey Spiller.
I thought it was a very interesting experience, and I learned a lot about our local government and how everything works.
Very good, thank you. Giovanni McGee from JFK High School, representing Kyle Anderson. Oh, you're right in front of me, okay. All right. Want to say anything?
It was a great experience, it was a lot of fun, and I had a great time.
Okay, Kayla Absidi from Woodbridge High School, representing Councilwoman Nancy Drum.
It was a great experience.
Okay, thank you. And Aishwarya Karanan from Mother Seton High School. I don't think they're here. Okay. Travis Benny, Woodbridge High School, representing Councilman Greg Ficarra. Hockey player, so he's representing the right guy, because Greg's the athletic guy and this guy's a hockey player.
It was a great experience, and it was very interesting seeing how much is involved and how big the scope of everything is.
Very good, thanks. Mervyn Alexander, Union Catholic, representing Councilman Brian Small. I don't think they're here. Okay. Vahini Shori from Colonia High School, representing Debbie Meehan. Okay. Smile.
It was a really interesting day. It was really exciting to see local government in action.
Thank you. Veronica Estevez from Colonia, representing Council President Rick Delina.
It was an honor to be here, and I thought it was really interesting to get to see everything and how it works.
Cool. Oh, Ivana Wjedasa from Union Catholic, representing me. She liked me so much she didn't show up. And Arthraj Vyas, JFK High School, representing Clerk John Mitch.
I feel that after it, I know a lot about what's going on in my community, and I'm well informed about all the events.
Great, thank you. And that's it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our Recreation Department, Vito Subluka, Brian Molnar, Eileen Caggiano. You just started. Kelly Dunn, that's right. That's an easy name to remember. She just started. I forgot her name. John Cook. We have someone here from each of our high schools. Thank you all for coming out and watching.